On this week's episode of the K12 Tech podcast, we talk about some new free certifications and features from Google and Microsoft before discussing last week's Senate hearing on screen time as it relates to schools and EdTech. Thanks for listening.
Live from the NTP studios, this is the K12 Tech Talk podcast. I am Josh, Tech Director, and here in mid-Missouri, where it's going to snow. It's going to snow a lot. And
is it
Chris,
supposed to snow?
You are down the street from me, Chris. Yes, we are both under winter weather warnings at this point.
I hadn't heard that.
We could see anywhere from 7 to 14 inches of snow. Insert your own hilarious joke. And then there's this guy on the East Coast who deals with much more snow than we do. Hello, Mark.
Hey.
This is not like 14 inches of snow isn't a big deal to you, right?
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, no, 14 inches. It would paralyze the area. I mean, I'm in a city, so like there's not many places to put the snow. So you get about a foot of snow and everybody just shovels it onto the neighbor's yard. There's nothing to do.
I had a teacher do a support ticket. It was a joke, and I appreciated it. She was asking if I could send out a district-wide email of the searches that have been done related to weather this week, because she thought that would be really interesting to let staff and students know how often we were using our resources for weather research. It's people are excited about this weather. That would be
interesting.
That it's a legitimate educational purpose for your tools.
Yeah, this is like, I wouldn't say once in a generation, but this is a very, very rare event for Missouri. So we're excited. If we do get the full 14, again, insert your own joke, we'll be out all week. There's I don't think we go a day next week. If we get
my wife, we did the Walmart order, the Aldi order.
Yeah, we got a Walmart order
she's
today.
She's prepped to we're doing make your own pizzas. I mean, we're doing a thing. I mean, we are anticipating no school.
We are beef stew and I don't know what else. Cookies. I'm sure that. Oh, you know what? We might need to get cookie stuff. I've got plenty of bourbon though. So it's been a week. Chris, you texted us today that it sounded like you were in dire straits.
So we're still down a person, right? We're still without a technician. So all that regular stuff that you just need man hours for, still don't have those hours. But I mentioned like that Wi-Fi issue. I think I mentioned that last time. We are having laptops disconnect randomly from Wi-Fi.
Sometimes, you told me that the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes every 5 minutes, sometimes every 30, sometimes it's a couple hours. We thought it was just at one building. Again, like what the heck? Thought just one building. We did have a switch issue. Maybe it's related to something with that. But then we had a PD day. So our laptops being moved to go attend the PD meeting was on full display. And we realized that we had that same issue at a second building. So that's concerning. And we do laptops, so we mostly dock and do wired, besides these people that are complaining every 5 minutes about their Wi-Fi going down. So long story short, we are way into it. And these two buildings are different generations of the same model laptop, but they both have the same wireless card in them. And we are down to driver. We go a couple versions back on driver and things are better. And we're debating between, we got Provision Data Solutions, our consulting company, involved. We're either going to upgrade some access points and that kind of stuff and hope for the best, or we're going to be reverting to a driver. And that's like stupid.
Yeah, that would be a pain in the butt.
Yes. I mean, I've even thought like, man, should I just buy a bunch of USB Wi-Fi cards that get us through for a while? Because it's, again,
I mean,
most of the people are docking and they're cool. It's just when they need the mobility, and they're working fine at home. So like we know we're down to, like, we know problem is the Wi-Fi card on these laptops, but we got a new Wi-Fi card from Lenovo. It still has the issue. It's that card. So now we're down to driver. And then, we're even into the weeds of, is it driver plus another particular update, or is it just driver? Is rebooting all the access points in those buildings going to magically fix it? Do we have to update the firmware on all those access points? Is that going to magically fix it? It sucks.
Thanks for asking. Chris, You want to talk about a sponsor that doesn't suck real quick?
Yeah, that's Rise Vision. And actually, to plug, in a couple weeks, we're going to hang out with Rise Vision. I did an interview with them to learn more about them. So they're hanging out with us through these sponsor spots for this month into the next. Check out Rise Vision for your cloud digital signage. Go to risevision.com. But in a couple weeks, we're going to have an interview and unpack what they do. So they don't just do like, here's some slides on a TV, but they deliver content and templates, and they can interface with your emergency management systems. Your school goes on lockdown, that can be put on display. They can even do screen sharing, and we'll unpack that during the interview. You can give your teachers or your libraries access to Rise Vision to put stuff on all the TVs at once and collaborate with kids, kind of thing. So check out Rise Vision.
You know, I heard of a district using Rise Vision to do countdowns during passing time bells, which I found interesting.
Hey, speaking of interviews, we had talked last week about interviewing Denver Public Schools this week. A little bit of a snafu with the schedule, so that interview will be airing next week. But we're going to be interviewing Dr. Richard Charles, the CIO, about his recent shift in ChatGPT policy.
I'm excited to record that interview. That's getting a little bit of scuttle in my district as well. Something, I don't know if you guys know this. Where's my search window? Did you know TLS and SSL certificate lifetimes are changing?
Do tell.
So now you can do a maximum of 398 days expiry, roughly 13 days. I think when the last GoDaddy renewal I did last year was a year, and then they make you renew. Well, now March of 26, that maximum day is going to go to 200 days. So you won't be able to have a SSL cert on your web servers that go more than 200 days. A year later, March of 27, it's down to 100-day life. And then March of 29, and they're saying this is the final move, a 47-day lifespan of SSL certs. So if you really enjoy the process of renewing SSL certs manually on your web servers, this is great news for you. If you don't, if you're like me and you utterly hate it,
I'm like you.
You need to find, and I did this week with the assistance of a friend of ours, Chris, who I won't mention because he's a super private guy. I got a Windows certificate automation management tool that is automatically renewing my certificate for this site through Let's Encrypt on a scheduled basis. I think right now it's at 55 days. And that's a free utility that's doing that. You just run that on whatever web host you're running on, and it's got different versions for different OSs, whatever. It does the whole thing. It goes out to uses an API to hit Let's Encrypt and creates a certificate, and then creates a scheduled task to renew the certificate in X number of days. And there's a bunch of different command switches and stuff that you can do about the life of the certificate and whether you want it to email you on success or on failure. So if this is not on your radar, it should be, because the next time you go to renew your SSL cert, you will likely notice that maximum life is starting to shorten, and you need to come up with a plan for automating that. Those tools are called ACME tools, ACME automation tools. So
I hope they work, because the couple SSL certs that I have to deal with, the web servers or whatever that I'm dealing with, like sometimes it does suck. Not even sometimes, like every time there's an issue in the GUI that you get into. So I hope those automated tools will work well.
I was actually shocked because reading, I YouTube searched it and found a couple different videos, and they all made it look really, really easy. I'm thinking, man, if this is really this easy, why haven't I been doing this? It was really that easy. I had a few issues that I had to poke some holes in my firewall to make it work right on the outbound side of things. But once I got that figured out, it was crazy easy. So if you should look into it. I'm just telling you, look up ACME SSL cert automation. Yeah, it was rather easy.
I hope it works better than Acme's anvils, because those are terrible.
But their Dynamite was great.
Yeah, I don't know. Never quite got that Roadrunner, did it?
Yeah, but he was that wasn't the Dynamite's fault.
Well, I'm glad to see Wile E. Coyote's moved on to SSL certs.
Yeah, good for him. He went back to school,
that success.
Got certified. Yeah.
Proof that at any point in your life, you can choose to do something different.
Yeah, old dog, new trick. Yep. Mark, do you want to take our hand and lead us through the news?
Oh, this is a perfect segue for old dog, new trick. We've got good professional development
Ted
updates
Cruz?
from no, not yet. We'll get there. But
Whoa,
good
Josh,
professional
whoa.
development updates from Google and from Microsoft. So this one, the first one from Google, it actually was a few weeks ago. They announced that their educator certifications, level 1 and level 2, are free for a limited time. Level 1 is usually $10 and level 2 is $25. So go ahead and get that done for free.
Get 'em.
And the Gemini cert as well is free right now too.
Yes, and you're right, and the Gemini cert. So go ahead and get at least level 1. Definitely get level 2 if you're a Google admin in your district, and the Gemini one. And not to be outdone, Microsoft has also announced the Elevate for Educators platform. This is a credentialing and skilling platform. They have an AI skills navigator that help you learn new skills through the help of artificial intelligence. This is available in more than 13 languages. And they're providing educators with an all-new AI for Education course. This is available all at no cost through the Elevate for Educators credentialing platform, developed with ISTE and ASCD.
Okay. I dig it. I love a good free cert.
Do you guys have any of those certifications yourself?
I have the Gemini cert, and eons ago, I was, I think, level 1 cert and admin console cert. I had actually a library para, email me the other day, yesterday, and say that she went through all of them, level 1, level 2, and Gemini,
Wow.
and passed them. And she was super excited. She's like, I learned a few things. She goes, but the level 1 stuff, we should make every teacher go through that level 1 certification because it covers so many basic things with Classroom and Drive and Docs. She's like, everyone would get something out of that. And, we don't necessarily need to make them do level 2, but that should be cursory training for everyone.
That's great.
Yeah, I had my tech department. We got this certs, and like you just said, the level 1, it was good to get because you're learning the Google way and the Google words.
Sure.
And as a tech, you can more put yourself into, obviously we support Drive and obviously we support Docs. So to kind of get that and see the teacher perspective a little bit better, just to go with that we're not just saying the technical way. You're learning some Google terminology, I feel like, through that, and Google philosophy through those things too. And it's good.
Very cool. Well, speaking of Google and Microsoft, once again, they both also had big announcements on their products. So we'll start with Microsoft, then go to Google. So Microsoft announced now available in the 365 Copilot app is Teach, which that helps to streamline your lesson planning, customized materials, quizzes, rubrics, all those kinds of things. You can quickly generate lesson plans to relevant standards, and all of these are available at no cost to education customers. They also released the Study and Learn agent, which is built on learning science principles, and it helps students, and they will specify this is age 13 and above, but to engage more deeply with different academic concepts and develop critical thinking skills. So they're able to basically enter in a theme and say, I want to learn about this, and this Study and Learn agent will help them through the learning process.
Good. It's nice that we're talking about Microsoft because we get that feedback. I don't know how else to put that. We do get feedback that we don't talk about Microsoft enough. Hey, do you know they had an outage this afternoon? So I'm happy to say that we are a little equal time here tonight for Microsoft.
Yeah. And then right around the same time that Microsoft announced those items, Google also announced this week they released a slew of updates for their Gemini app. I can't go through every single one of them, gentlemen. If you have anything specifically favorite of yours, the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is there is a specific SAT prep functionality where students can gain experience practicing for the SAT through Gemini. Cool. There's some more teacher-led insights, so they can start to see how students are using their teacher-led gems in Notebook LM. And then there is a brand new Gemini image generation detector. So you can say, hey, was this created with Google AI or is this AI generated? and it will actually use the synth ID mark behind the scenes to give you some information about how it's generated. My understanding of this one is that it is only for Gemini created images, but if you are a district that's kind of locked things down to that environment, that would help you out a little bit. And then finally, which is not necessarily education, but they release a really, really cool ransomware detection and file restoration tool in Drive. So if you are using file sync and your computer becomes encrypted with ransomware, Google Drive will actually detect that, put up a big old flag for the user and alert the admin. Now, this is a Education Plus tool, so this is not available in the free version, but it does show that Google is also taking ransomware seriously, and you're going to start to see more and more features around AI detected ransomware.
Yeah, I saw that setting or that report has been in Admin Console for, I guess, a few weeks now because I ran across it the other day. I think one of the things that I'm most excited about this announcement was they are taking a good number of the features from the Gemini Pro. Chris, is that the real name of that license?
It's a little bit longer, but yeah, I think so.
The Gemini add-on, right?
Yeah, the Gemini add-on. They're taking a number of the features that were specific for that add-on or that license and just rolling them down a level to Education Plus. I know they're going to a couple others as well, but the feature that I was having a conversation today about was that right-hand panel of Gemini and the features of Gemini and the suggestions being rolled into Docs and Sheets. That Gemini interface into Sheets to be able to help with calculations or formulas real time in the same window has been a game changer with me with Google Sheets in the last couple months. So now having that ability for everyone is fantastic.
That's great. I admit I had the Plus, I had like a free year or something like that for the Google Plus license, whatever it was. And when it expired, I just let it go. And we were talking before the show too. Why upgrade to the education or AI Plus if all this stuff is rolling down to lower tiers? So
especially now, like what's going to be, I have to believe from a good business perspective, Google's going to do some whiz bang feature with that Gemini Pro license to keep people subscribing to that.
Yeah,
otherwise, like you said, what's the value of that license?
It's a hard sell. I actually this week I had my first principal, I guess first real Beyond Tech Department employee reach out about, hey, can I get a Gemini license? Because he was doing some pretty extensive stuff with Notebook LM and he was reaching his limit in different things. And he had looked up what he can do, and he kind of did a quick pleading of his case. And I talked about, hey, and we had a license again because we're down a tech. My new tech will not get a Gemini license to play with because I gave it to a principal. But again, you're like looking at that and you're like, I mean, I can't buy this. I don't even want to buy it for all my principals, let alone a group of teachers. It's just not affordable for what you get. So if you're going to roll down a lot of that into the what you're already paying for, there has to be some new feature or something come out.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think it's a little bit more of a reason for the free or fundamentals licensed districts to upgrade to Plus.
Yes,
that too.
But you're right; it does remove that desire to buy the upgraded AI license.
Well, so let's rewind 6 months or so. That licensing change and fee structure was announced in July, and it's really starting to hit now districts that are going through renewal and budget process.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a reaction to some of that feedback.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be. Maybe Google listens to this podcast and took our feedback to heart, Mark.
I hope so. There's been that interesting thing with Gemini and the tiers with people knowing what you get with what. You turn on Gemini, but that's just going to Gemini, but that's not what the Gemini license gets. And then there is the two tiers, and what's the difference? Again, for a common person to look at that in education, what's the difference between those two? Even as we're bantering here, we're like, well, what do we get or what don't we get? They're probably not getting sales because we don't know what we want to buy. So maybe they're starting to identify that too. I will say this. I had an interesting conversation. I was with a group of high school kids this week, and we still block AI stuff for all of our students. But the kids are talking about Notebook LM. The kids are talking about Google Lens. The kids are talking about Google AI mode search, and they're doing that personally. And they were hitting me up because they're asking when our school is going to get that stuff going. Again, this stuff is coming, and our kids are using it. And it was a kind of a little. We're running an AI committee, and we're moving, I feel like, as quick as we can to try to get stuff ready for students to use whatever AI we're going to land on. But the kids are moving faster than us right now, I feel like.
Well, so that's a good segue real quick. I think we mentioned last week that we were turning on Gemini for a pilot group of our students at my district. Recap, it's about 100 kids, just under 100 kids. And it's a wide array of kids. There are kids in our AP US history, and then there's some kids that are in a transitions class. So we sent out a survey to those kids asking about current comfort level with Gemini and kind of AI in general. And then what do they see the valid uses for? How much do they trust it? What do they think? And this to me is the most interesting question. Is what do they see as being the big concerns or pitfalls of open access to students using Gemini? And the answers have been pretty interesting. I don't want to share too much, but they are very comfortable. They feel they are very comfortable prompting AI just out of the box because they're using it. Like, just because we have it turned off at school, that is not preventing them from using ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini in other modalities. So they feel they are very comfortable. There has been a good response about the ability and the want to kind of fact check the responses that it's getting out of that Gemini is spitting back at them. And I think the overwhelming largest concern on this, because the last question is just a free text box, the concern with the most hits that comes up most frequently has been, without guidance, without proper training, their largest fear is that students will use this predominantly to cheat and be lazy. To me, as an adult, as an administrator in the district, I like seeing that these kids, they're not self-reporting, but they are aware enough of themselves and of their cohort to know that unless they are trained properly, that will be the pitfall. And that's the overwhelming response.
Wow.
I'm excited to see that. I'm happy to see that.
That's cool. That's coming directly from students saying,
that is coming directly from students.
Don't just turn this on. Give us training and support. That's really cool to hear.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Oh, can we have one of your students come on the podcast?
I don't know if we should do that.
We can disguise the voice.
I mean,
don't tell him he's going to be on. Like, wait after school, push him into the back of your trunk, put him like,
no,
we
Chris.
can disguise his voice.
No, that's a hard no. I mean, I was ready to say I could have a conversation, but no, that's a hard no.
Okay.
So our goal, our thought with this, the AI committee's thought with this is we're sending this out to them now because it's been on less than a week or so. The goal is to then follow up at the end of the quarter and see if that, because we do have some kids that are answering honestly that say, I am not comfortable. I haven't used this. I don't know what a good prompt is. So our goal is to see with these couple teachers that are using it, does that comfort level increase? Does their normal usage or what they use it for change over this quarter? I met with a teacher today quickly who has a large number of students that don't speak English as their primary language. And she is seeing amazing activity from those kids with just translation and helping them understand different things. It's been cool. The valid use has been really, really cool. And I think, Mark, you and I talked about, you can see their prompts in Gemini in Vault because all of those prompts get recorded in Vault. And I was a little disheartened that when we turned it on, a lot of it was clearly copying a question from a worksheet or an assignment and pasting and getting the answer. But Mark, you kind of reeled me back in and said, you're not seeing this. They're doing this anyway in Google. Like, they're doing that in the Google search box anyway. It's just now you're able to see it because they're doing it in Gemini. This is not a new thing. Cheating is not new. They can hand if it's on paper, they can hand that paper worksheet to a friend and have that friend do it. Cheating is not new. It's funny you say that. I do a lot of professional development on Gemini and AI tools for teachers. And the very first tip I say is, this is not a Google search. You're not supposed to use this as a Google search. You're supposed to use it as, this is going to sound awkward and weird, but this is a chat. You need to have a conversation with this rather than just, type in a statement or a question. And I think from a student perspective, if you set that framework of this is a tutor, you use this, have a conversation with this tool as a tutor. Pretend it is your teacher that you've come to for help to explain this, how to do differential equations. I think if you frame it in that perspective and start that framework early, that addresses a lot of those concerns.
Josh, on that survey, did you collect their name, or
nope.
was it anonymous?
Nope, I wanted it to be anonymous.
It'd be fun to, like, little Johnny's like, teach us how to not cheat, and you look in Vault and he's just been cheating all day. It'd be cool to see the.
Yeah, there was one kid that was like, I'm an expert prompter. I don't have to check it because I know the answers are. I'm like, I wish I could tell who that kid was.
That's good.
It's the kid asking Gemini, "Hey, ChatGPT, what's the answer to this question?"
Right. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, another sponsor of the K12 Tech Talk podcast is Meter. Think subscription-based networking. They will bring in the equipment. They will do the install. They'll work alongside you while that configuration is happening. They'll manage the network for you or with you. Check them out. They're a newer, I'd say, to K12 company and wanting to make sure the information is out about them. So go to meter.com/K12 Tech Talk to book a demo and to learn more. That's meter.com/K12 Tech Talk to book a demo.
Shall we jump into the main event?
I think so.
All right. So last week we teased that there would be a Senate hearing on screen time. That hearing aired on Thursday, led by Ted Cruz, and so we thought we would break down some of the main points and talking points from that hearing.
Josh, are you excited about this? I think you're a big Ted Cruz fan.
No, I've already listened to it, so no.
Ooh, big storm coming. Do you think he's going to stay in Texas?
Unlikely.
Okay, so the hearing went without a hitch, and I would say I spent most of that time saying yes, 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 no, because there were certain times where the conversation would go in a very, very great direction, talking about the dangers of screen time and social media and big tech's influence on kids. And all of a sudden, it always took a turn towards putting the blame on schools. So we thought tonight we would share a couple of clips and kind of debrief this one. I've got, 4 or 5 different audio clips from here that I was going to play for Josh and Chris, get their kind of raw response because they're hearing this for the first time. And if there's anything that you'd like to fact check or correct the record for, please do so. I'm going to start it with how this entire hearing actually started. So this is how Ted Cruz opened up the hearing.
Good morning. Senate Commerce Committee will come to order. It's incredibly hard to be a kid right now.
Okay, that's the first clip. I did verify a few things on here, and Ted Cruz is actually not a kid. He is 50 years old. Later on in that opening, though, Ted Cruz did talk about the challenges of technology and the screen time. So here he is later on in the opening speech.
Parents face further challenges in monitoring and limiting their children's screen time, in part because our education system, fueled by federal subsidies and incentives, has increasingly required the use of internet-connected devices in schools. Most students are now assigned laptops or tablets, often without guardrails or parental controls, in order to complete their schoolwork. There aren't many parents who think it has become easier to help with schoolwork or to cut down on screen time when schools send their kids home with a personal tablet. There's a role, to be sure, for technology in the classroom. But we should discuss whether assigning personal devices to children is actually improving academic outcomes or doing more harm than good.
Response?
There's so much. Fueled by federal subsidies and dollars. I don't know if this is like this everywhere, but at least in my district, we receive very few federal dollars.
And of those dollars, they're not going towards the device.
Absolutely not.
Like, even if you're like, even if I'm a school, it's like, we get fed money all over the place. It's not, I don't know of schools that are really getting it for the device.
Right. I mean, free introduced lunch program, maybe some transportation dollars, but not devices. Title money, not devices. So the statement of, what was it? I was so distracted with the federal dollar statement. There was a statement right after that about no guardrails, right?
Yeah. Often with no guardrails. Clearly
out of touch. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, the acronym SIPA came to my mind super quick.
Right, exactly.
Which is I would consider that a guardrail.
Yeah, a big one.
I could banter a little bit. He said something about no parent stuff. Okay, I'm not a school that gives my parent, like, I don't have like the parent notifications about usage that go home and yada yada. So yeah, we could banter about that, but I absolutely have guardrails in place.
Right.
Now, I hear that comment about, parental controls, and, there's different tools and systems out there. Some of them that provide parents with information on how their child is using technology, others that give them parental controls. I've always found those to be complicated because when you've got a teacher who's controlling the device, you have IT departments who are controlling the device, and then you add in a parent who's also controlling the device. You have different people blocking websites when it is needed and causing more chaos in the classroom. So I hear what he's trying to say, and I hear the struggle that parents have. Logistically speaking, I don't think we can disseminate control to parents for a device that's in the school building. But Chris, you're right. Schools have controls.
Yeah, we got the guardrails all day. Again, I could disagree on guardrails because we got those, and I don't know a single school that doesn't. It doesn't exist. If you're a public school, you have you have a device assigned to a kid or a computer lab, there are guardrails in place. Even go extreme of like the school absolutely sucks at content filtering. The guardrail in place would be that the kid is still observed by a teacher walking around the room. At the worst case of what content filtering and monitoring even is, the one room school building with Mrs. Smith, the old lady, she's still walking around and watching what the kids are doing. That's still a guardrail.
Yeah. I struggled with that comment. I know where it's coming from, but I did struggle with that specific comment.
Yeah.
Going back to your comments, Josh, around E-rate.
you thought Josh was going to talk tonight, but he's just going to put his head down in frustration. Josh, to describe Josh, he just kept shaking his head. He's just shaking his head no. He didn't say anything.
Going back, Josh, to your comments around E-rate, Cruz did provide some additional commentary on that one. So here he is.
Oh, can I guess? Before you hit play, can I guess?
Go ahead.
E-rate's horrible, and it's the devil, and they should have repealed it. Right?
Not only did congressional Democrats give billions of dollars to the FCC to buy personal internet devices for children, but the Biden FCC sought to bankroll kids' unsupervised internet access and undermine parental rights by expanding the E-rate program to install Wi-Fi hotspots off campus, including in school buses and students' homes. I was proud that the Senate passed my legislation to repeal this program.
That comment was later rejected by Senator Edward Markey from Massachusetts, who is one of the original founders of the E-rate modernization bill, where he stated, you're referring to the E-rate subsidies or the E-rate programs that were put in place during COVID to provide hotspots for buses, for homes, and some of that money was used for devices. So a clarification that these programs that he was referring to, that was part of COVID. I do get what he's saying, though, that, hey, this may be fueling the fire here, but this is not a normal program. And as you mentioned, we're not used to using federal dollars for devices and hotspots.
And districts were not paying for internet to be installed in parents' homes without parent consent. Come on.
The parent stuff banter, I can banter about that.
Yeah.
All day. I've had, so our school district does we say it's tech yes or tech no.
Yes.
We'll have a parent request that's like, hey, my kid's getting on YouTube too much, turn it off. We don't do that. We say you can go to alternative school and it's all locked down and you get to like 5 websites, that's it. Or you're in public school, like you're in regular ed stuff, like, and we're teaching you how to use you. It's the same banter about you can drive your kid to school in the van and drop them off, or you can let them ride the school bus and they might learn some new language on the school bus. You're doing it. So I can banter about the parent stuff, but again, easy E-rate stuff, that's for rural schools all day. Great impact. Like,
okay, Chris, you've got children in your own school district. So you have an extra layer of security that you can provide over your kids. Are you finding your role as IT director and parent in the same school district? Is there overlap there?
Right. My wife, Stephanie, she'll give banter about what kids can and can't do and yada, yada, yada. Actually, that same group I was talking to about the AI stuff, they started bantering with me about what websites they can and can't have access to. We take that input. As a parent, we take all input. When that parent calls about the YouTube thing, we take that input.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, you could banter about it a lot. The parent has input. The parent has a voice. But yeah, we could go back and forth to what degree do they need all those rights or whatever.
Josh, same question, because I know that your child was in your school. They just graduated last year. But have you ever blocked a website that you know your son was going to in school?
Do you have to ask that? Yeah, I mean, yes.
So
cool math games.
Oh, all day.
Cool math games.
Oh, well, that's a universal one. Everybody's blocked that.
Again, that same group of kids I was talking to, it's funny that you just said that. So Chase, my son, who's a senior, was in that conversation, and he told the kids that when he was in elementary school, like, he was a snitch. He would tell his dad the sites that everybody was going to. And then he was like, and then I learned how not cool that was and how my dad's not cool. and he doesn't snitch anymore. Now my youngest, she still tells me. She tells me the little games. She still knows like what the light looks like.
All right. Well, this theme of talking about the impacts of social media and screen time, I mean, you can listen to, they have a bunch of experts on here. You can listen to every single one of them and agree with everything. The thing where I got a little bit concerned is the attention just kept being drawn towards schools. So this is Dr. Jean Twenge. She's a psychology professor at San Diego University. I'll play a clip from her now.
I'm even more concerned about the AI companion apps than I am about social media. It is terrifying to think that our kids are having their first relationships with these sycophantic chatbots.
She raises a really good point that we're seeing a lot of this stuff that we're concerned about at home suddenly coming into the classroom. AI chatbots are things that, Josh, you just talked about, all the benefits and usefulness of it. But from a psychology professor, hearing the dangers that a student could be having a in-depth relationship or conversation and not realize they're talking to a computer, that's a real threat or concern that parents have both at school and at home. I think we do too.
Yep. Yeah, like that's the same. Ted said something about we should discuss if devices have been good or not. Yes, we should. I don't think you would really talk to anyone that works in a school that we shouldn't continue discussion. Or, hey, there's a thing called AI coming and kids are using it at home, and what should the school do to it? Yes, we will discuss like we do every single week when we record an episode here. We are all deeply concerned about what students are being exposed to and what is the best tool to use to help kids learn. Yes, I agree.
I will leave you with a quote from Dr. Horvath, who kind of continued this conversation, and I'm going to pause it halfway through and see if you can finish his thought.
First generation in modern history to underperform us on basically every cognitive measure we have, from basic attention to memory to literacy to numeracy to executive functioning to even general IQ, even though they go to more school than we did. So why? What happened? What happened around 2010 that decoupled schooling from cognitive development? It can't be school. Schools basically look the same. It can't be biology. This hasn't had enough time to change.
What was it?
Social media.
Mm.
The answer appears to be the tools we are using within schools to drive that learning.
That's not what I thought I was going to say. I was going to say screen time because I thought that's what the thing was about.
Yeah,
not the actual tools.
I thought it was going to be social media. I didn't think that we're going to go straight to the tools that we're using, but
I don't know. I don't know. 2010 would seem awful early to me for those tools to be as a stronghold that would need to be for that executive function to start taking a decline in 2010.
Yeah.
I got to my district in 2014. We made our first Chromebook purchase, and it was one cart per grade level in 2015.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that timeline works out. Now, it absolutely works out for social media and Instagram and Snapchat and kids getting those accounts, regardless of terms of service rules of age. To me, that's the bigger push there than the electronic tools schools are using. But I mean, I'm not a doctor.
Well, a lot of the doctors commented about the specific features of smartphones, the infinite scroll feature where you just never stop, you just keep scrolling. Yeah. I mean, these are specific features that were designed into social media to make them addictive. I don't necessarily see these same features in the tools we're using in the classroom. I think that's where I'm struggling, is that the personal phone is designed to addict the person using it. Yeah. And I was a teacher in 2010, and I remember that phones were starting to hit. Kids were starting to hide a cell phone and use it in class. Those same features that we see addicting that the experts are talking about, I don't see the same prevalence in laptops, Chromebooks, and ed tech tools. They are there, though. I will say that there are some of these addictive features within ed tech tools meant to capitalize on students' love of social media and say, why not bring that same function to ed tech? That's where I get a little bit nervous. But I think overall, I feel like educators are trying to teach kids how to use technology as a productive tool through education technology. And we're conflating the screen time and social media challenges with ed tech. And yes, there is some overlap, and there are some things. I don't know about you guys. I just cringe when I see how much YouTube is watched during the school day, and I know that that's not all instructional. So we're trying to limit that stuff. We're trying to get rid of those kinds of things, but it's like, how do you not throw the baby out with the bathwater? That's where I'm struggling with this whole hearing.
Yeah, YouTube. That's one of the things that gets me riled up more than anything is looking at the amount of every day. It is top 3 sites in use in my district. And I know the majority of that is music videos or game walkthroughs or something just utterly ridiculous. It's not educational content.
Yeah.
Which is helped by the introduction of screen time limitations, which is what this thing was about, correct? Did that get talked about?
What was the title of the hearing, Mark?
Hearing on the impact of screen time on kids.
Yeah.
So it was a general screen time conversation. When I read or when I listen through the experts, I hear them pull out a lot of features that are social media based. And I agree, that's a horrible thing.
Right.
But it does get conflated. It does spread quickly into schools when you talk about screen time, because that is a big part of the amount of screen time that kids get every day.
Well, we used to banter. I was just looking up. I came to my district now. It was like 2014. So it was 2014 when my district went 1-to-1 at the high school, and that was our first 1-to-1. So the 2010 thing, that kind of maybe lines up when like nationally we started to see schools do 1-to-1. But back then it was like a tablet or a computer, like the calculator app was really important. And that was back with YouTube before shorts, and you could, do like the screen shader easy to block out the ads and stuff. So to just say that that's the time that everything went wacky, I can't get there. I remember back then we used to have a lot of banter about chalkboard and then it went to dry erase board and then interactive board. And you can clearly see advancement in technology, and that's good. And you don't have to have a study that backs up that an interactive board or a dry erase board is better than a chalkboard. It's easy to know that a device that has a calculator app on it is better than calculator in the world that we live in. So again, to just start blaming device and tools, it's not that. We know it's an enhancement, but we can talk all day about the trash of YouTube, but the trash of the stuff that has guardrails in place that we need to tighten down. But we're missing the mark if we're just talking about the whole premise of giving a kid a device with technology on it. That's crazy stuff to me.
I think if one of our collective goals as high schools is to truly prepare kids for life after high school, be that higher ed, be that workforce, be that military, whatever, you cannot say we have to get rid of the devices. Like, they are not going to do anything post high school that doesn't have a device. Even if they go into plumbers or electricians, they are going to use devices. So the idea of cutting a device out of the high school you're not going to get there.
Did they talk about limiting screen time, or they just talk about yanking all the devices out? How did the thing end, Mark?
It's a great question. I think there were a lot of very good points brought up by the experts and the politicians, and I think there was a general consensus that we cannot sit back and do nothing. And I think all of us in education would agree with that. Or the main purpose of this hearing really was to advertise the Kids Off Social Media Act, which I'm a huge supporter of, and I think it's a great thing. I just think that we need to have a careful conversation about technology in schools, and rather than think about schools as part of the problem. And I admit that there are parts of the problem that are related to schools and behaviors that we need to change in schools. But I guess my ultimate point is that it's complicated when it comes to ed tech and screen time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, completely agree. And using that platform to villainize E-rate or to villainize technology in schools, to me, is inappropriate. That does nothing positive whatsoever.
I agree. I think it hurts the cause. So I am all about let's talk screen time, and I am all about let's cut out the junk that is on the device that we can banter about. But you want to get me easily riled up, bring up E-rate like it's a bad thing.
Right.
That's going to get me riled up. So like, there's a proverb about you hang out with wise people, you get wise. You hang out with fools, you're going to get into trouble, whatever. That's a really foolish sentence. So like, what else are you offering me in this conversation? It doesn't hit me as well. You might have some great points about screen time, but you start talking about E-rate being trash, it doesn't help the good of the cause. And especially with the whole, the politics of it, to get both sides together, you're not doing the thing if you're trashing on E-rate.
No, because E-rate isn't putting in devices in kids' hands. Yes, it's internet connections and providing broadband to classrooms, but it is not putting devices in kids' hands. I will say, out of this hearing, Mark, I know do you have any clips from Markey, or was it only Ted?
I didn't pull any clips from Ed Markey, but essentially he did debunk the whole E-rate thing, or clarified the E-rate statement that Ted Cruz had made.
It was very cool to hear Markey talk and kind of defend E-rate. So yeah, that was great. And if we could ever have him on here to interview, as far from a historical standpoint of that process of starting E-rate, and then if the rest of this story and where we go in the future, that would be super cool. But I think the three of us, the answer is the three of us testify. Like, we need to testify in front of Congress. It would be, I would volunteer. I would pay my own way. I would do that.
I'll wear a blazer.
I'll wear a hat. I'll buy a new, I have this hat obsession now. I will buy a hat and a full suit.
Shoot, bro. Thanks to Lightspeed, check out lightspeedsystems.com. They can hook you up with your filter, guardrail. They can give you insight into app usage, guardrail, alerts on student safety monitoring. Some might call that a guardrail. They can let you report concerns that you have going on about student safety, different things. I don't know, guardrail. Screen monitoring and control. They have Classroom. That's a guardrail, I think. They can even check on the device and make sure that the kid has a good device and signal health. You would say that we care about what the tool is being used. Maybe not a guardrail, but I would still put it in there. And then they can help you out with your MDM. So we don't just care about the Chromebook, but the Apple product as well. Guardrail. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Some schools use Lightspeed, guardrail.
You know where Lightspeed's headquarters are, right?
No, do tell.
Texas.
Guardrail.
Well, I will close with just replaying a snippet of Ted Cruz's laptop tirade in the beginning, but with the snippet that I think we can all agree on.
There's a role, to be sure, for technology in the classroom. But we should discuss whether assigning personal devices to children is actually improving academic outcomes or doing more harm than good.
I think regardless of where you sit on this issue, that's a statement that we can all say 100%. We're putting a huge amount of money and time and effort into this.
Oh, yeah.
And is it improving outcomes or is it harming our kids? So
well,
I agree with that.
From a huge money perspective, if you haven't priced Chromebooks yet for next year in your budget cycle, get ready, buddy. You're going to have some sticker shock. Between memory prices and Intel processor shortages, like, get ready.
We're going to need some federal subsidies to just get
so to I do take issue with something he said in that clip, Mark. I do not consider the devices that districts hand students as personal devices.
Yeah. I brought that up last week. Yes.
I absolutely do not think they are personal devices.
Yeah.
Agree.
No, I know. It's a complicated conversation, but I think what he's referring to is that a student has taken a device and they're walking from class to class and bringing it home.
That's fine.
But you raise a very good point that hey, part of our challenge is convincing kids this isn't your device. Right. This is a tool that belongs to the school and has been issued for a specific purpose.
Don't put stickers on it. Don't draw on it. This isn't your it might be assigned to you, but it is not a personal device.
I was going to say, we have banter about that on, well, we have a no sticker policy too, but we will allow wallpaper change in middle school, high school. And we talk about that because we want,
Lord, what is wrong with you?
Listen to me, because we want the kid to feel like he has some ownership, but it's not his device. But I would rather the kids I would rather the kids at my school spend their time on the district assigned Chromebook than to have their phone out at home that doesn't have any guardrails. I'd rather them be on the Chromebook that has guardrails in place. So our stance has been if we can let them do a stupid wallpaper and they're going to spend a little more time on Chromebook with guardrails than on the phone that doesn't, I'm gonna go that route.
That's our next sticker, Chris. Just the word guardrails and guardrail. That'd be a great sticker. Send it to Mr. Cruz. That was a lot, gentlemen.
That was a lot.
I feel okay.
Good episode. Next week we'll likely be coming to you from the frozen tundra. Mark, are you guys supposed to get snow out of this storm that's coming?
Yeah. I think they said anywhere from 6 to 20. So cool.
Huh. Wow.
It's a good. Wow. Who knows?
That's a spread. So if anything resonated with you tonight, shoot us an email. Chris, what's our email address?
info@K12TechPodcast.com.
If you have a story you would like to share, like I don't remember the gentleman's name from Idaho a couple weeks ago. Was it Lawrence?
Lawrence
from Idaho a couple weeks ago. We'll anonymize you. Send us your story. You got a crazy teacher story? Send us your crazy teacher story.
If you're in Josh's student AI program, shoot us an email.
I might bring that up to some powers that be and see what we can do.
That would be a riot.
I don't know that we can. Yeah, because that could go off the rails in so many different ways.
Also, we're going to be on the road. So let me plug a couple sponsors here that are very important to us. So NTP, email our friend David, dwren at ntp-inc.com for your cybersecurity, for your SOC stuff. Also Fortinet, fortinetpodcast at fortinet.com. All kinds of Fortinet products that are guardrails that help keep staff and students safe, network safe. Extreme Networks, dmayer at extremenetworks.com. I won't get into the nitty gritty on like a network switch and how routing works and VLANs and all that stuff, but some could put that into the definition of a guardrail, by the way. But we're proud to have them as sponsors, and they're helping us get on the roads. We have the Cybersecurity Symposium coming up in March. Next week, I think it's the 27th or 28th, we're doing the virtual conference with Secure Ed Schools in Illinois. Mark, you got a keynote in Colorado coming up in February. Check that out. And then in February, towards the end of the month, we will be in Albuquerque at the K12 conference. And look ahead in April, we're going to COSIN in Chicago. So if you're going to any of those events, or if you have an event that you want us to attend, we'd love to set up the podcast table at your event. So again, shoot us an email at info@K12TechPodcast.com.
And extra points if there is a custom cowboy hat shop within 15 minutes.
You pick the hat mold and stuff.
Thanks for listening. Share us with your friends. Send us an email. We love reading your email. We'll share your story if you want us to. We will see you next week.
We might not be the same. You share the same pain that I do.
The views and opinions expressed on the K12 Tech Talk podcast are the personal opinions of Josh, Chris, and Mark, and do not represent the views or opinions of our sponsors or other organizations that we're affiliated with. The material and information presented here is for general information and entertainment purposes only. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
We were buying words about the phrase of the way and selling songs just as